Let's talk real for a minute. You can have the money, the looks, the status, but if you're still treating intimacy like a checklist, brother, you've already lost her. See, I talk to women every day. I've coached them, cried with them, laughed with them, and unwrapped their deepest truths. And I'm going to tell you something that no one dares to say out loud. Women are starving emotionally, sensually, spiritually. And the saddest part, most men don't even realize it. They think great sex is performance, or dominance, or doing what they saw in some video on a screen. But what a woman craves in the bedroom is something far deeper. She wants to feel. She wants to be seen. She wants to surrender, but only to a man who understands the power of presence, emotional safety, and masculine awareness. If you're struggling to connect, if she's pulling away, if you keep hearing, "I'm just not in the mood," listen up. Because this isn't about technique. It's about transformation. And once you master these 5 things, you'll not only awaken her body, but her soul. Let's get something straight. Emotional safety is not a bonus in the bedroom. It's the foundation. Too many men think foreplay starts when the lights go off, when the clothes come off, when the hands start to wander. But let me be real with you, it starts long before that. It starts with how you make her feel. Not just in the bedroom, but outside of it. In your tone, in your attention, in how you respond to her emotions, her insecurities, her silence. You see, for a woman, arousal isn't just physical, it's emotional. If she doesn't feel safe to be vulnerable with you emotionally, her body will never feel safe enough to surrender sexually. When you raise your voice, when you belittle her concerns, when you roll your eyes instead of listening, she's making a mental note. I can't open up here. And guess what? If she can't open up emotionally, she won't open up physically either. Women crave emotional intimacy because sex for them is a deeply relational experience. It's about trust, connection, feeling like she can fully be herself without the fear of being shamed, dismissed, or used. And when that trust is broken or absent, her desire goes into hiding. Creating emotional safety means being consistent. It means being the kind of man who doesn't mock her tears or call her too emotional. It means listening without trying to fix, being present without being distracted, validating her experience even if you don't fully understand it. And here's the truth most men never hear. The more emotionally safe she feels, the more sensually alive she becomes. When she feels protected, respected, and emotionally held, she lets go. She doesn't hold back. She doesn't guard herself. And when she feels that kind of emotional safety, she stops performing and starts feeling. She stops enduring and starts enjoying. If you want her body, you need to earn her heart first, because that's the gateway to everything you crave. So remember this. Your emotional presence is the most powerful aphrodisiac you have. Use it wisely. Let me ask you something real. Have you ever been with someone physically but felt completely alone? Because that is how many women feel during intimacy with men today. She's right there with you, but you're not really there, are you? Your body is in the room, but your mind is wandering. You're thinking about how you look, what's next, what she's thinking, how to perform, how to impress. And in doing all that, you've left her. You're not present. And when presence disappears, connection dies. Presence is not passive. It is power. To a woman, your presence speaks louder than your words. She notices everything. She knows when you're distracted, in your head, emotionally checked out, and she knows when you're locked in, when your eyes don't dart, when your breath syncs with hers, when your hands move with intention, not just instinct. She craves that. In the bedroom, presence means slowing down, not rushing to the next move, not aiming for the finish line, but tuning into her body, her breath, her responses, her stillness, her sounds, being fully immersed in the experience, not just chasing pleasure, but building connection. And outside the bedroom, presence means showing up fully. When she talks, don't just hear her. Listen. When you're with her, Put your phone down. Look her in the eyes. Let her feel that in this moment there's nowhere else you'd rather be. Because here's the truth. Women don't fall in love with men who have perfect abs or smooth lines. They fall in love with the man who makes them feel like the only woman in the world. And that happens when you give her your attention, your full, grounded, masculine attention. Presence is how she feels cherished. Presence is how she feels safe. Presence is how she trusts you with her vulnerability. And when you offer her that, she blooms. She softens. She opens in ways you've never seen before. So if you want to be unforgettable, not just another guy in her past, master your presence. Because in a world full of distractions, a present man is rare. And a rare man is always desirable. Let's break a myth that's been sold to men for far too long. Great sex is not about how well you perform. It's about how deeply you connect. Performance is ego-driven. It's about metrics, how long, how hard, how many moves, how loud she gets. But connection, that's soul-driven. It's about presence, energy, and emotional alignment. And trust me, women can feel the difference. You could have all the techniques in the world. You could mimic every move from every scene you've ever studied. But if you're disconnected from her, if you're not tuned into who she is, how she feels, what she needs, then you're not making love. You're just acting out a scene. And she knows it. Women crave depth, not performance. They want to feel with you, not just be done by you. They want eye contact that lingers, breathing that sinks, touch that feels intentional, not routine or robotic. When a man connects deeply, he's not asking, am I doing it right? He's asking, how is she doing? He's reading her body like a sacred text, not a cheat sheet. He's adjusting to her energy, not sticking to a mental checklist. And here's the truth most men never hear. When a woman feels emotionally and energetically met, her body becomes fully alive. She becomes expressive, responsive, and completely open because she knows you're not just having sex, you're co-creating an experience together. This is where real intimacy lives. This is where soul meets skin. So stop trying to impress her. Start trying to feel her. Start trying to understand her. Start paying attention to what's unspoken, because that's where her truth lies. When she feels that kind of emotional and sensual connection, her guard drops. She stops overthinking. She surrenders not out of obligation, but out of deep trust. And that's when you'll see a version of her no one else has ever touched. So if you're out there trying to be good in bed, here's a better goal. Be good at connection. Because that's what she remembers, that's what she craves, and that's what makes a man unforgettable, not in the moment, but in her heart. Let me tell you something many men overlook. A woman's body isn't just turned on by your touch, it's awakened by your words. You might think she knows she's beautiful. You might assume she knows you want her. But let me break it to you gently. She doesn't. Not always. Not even when she's lying next to you naked. Women are incredibly self-aware. Every curve, every scar, every so-called flaw, she's already thought about it 10 times before she ever let you see her without clothes. And even the most confident woman needs to feel that you see her as desirable, not just as a body, but as a woman, a soul, a presence. That's where affirmation comes in. No, I'm not talking about fake compliments or cheesy lines. I'm talking about real, grounded, emotionally attuned reassurance. Words that anchor her in the safety of your desire. God, you're so beautiful right now. I love the way you feel. You don't have to do anything. Just be here with me. You're safe. You're enough. You're wanted. These aren't soft. These aren't weak. These are the words that unlock a woman's deepest ability to let go, to stop questioning, comparing, hiding. And when that happens, everything changes. You create a space where she stops performing and starts expressing, where she no longer worries about being too much or not enough, where she knows that in this moment, with you, she is fully accepted. And don't reserve this only for the bedroom. Reassurance is a lifestyle, not a tactic. It's in how you hold her hand in public. It's in how you affirm her ideas when she doubts herself. It's in how you remind her that she's seen, even when she's tired, moody, or doesn't have her makeup on. When a woman feels consistently desired and emotionally validated, she blooms. Not for the world, for you. So if you want a woman to open up emotionally and intimately, don't just touch her body. Speak to her heart. Your words are more powerful than you realize. Use them not to impress her, but to remind her she's cherished. Let's talk about what happens after the climax, because that's where most men get it wrong. You see, what you do after sex is just as important as what you did during it, maybe even more important. And yet, far too many men think, we're done. They roll over, they go to sleep. They grab their phone, they disconnect physically, emotionally, and spiritually. But here's the thing, she's still wide open. For women, intimacy isn't just a physical act. It's an emotional release, a sacred vulnerability, a moment where her body and soul are intertwined. And when that moment ends abruptly, when you leave her hanging emotionally, it can feel like being dropped hard. That's why emotional aftercare matters. Aftercare isn't weakness. It's not clingy. It's not soft. It's conscious masculinity. It's staying with her, holding her, stroking her hair. It's pulling her closer, not pushing her away. It's checking in. How are you feeling? Was that okay for you? Can I hold you a little longer? These may seem like small things to you, but to her, they speak volumes. They say, I care. I see you. I didn't just want your body, I wanted all of you. Because for a woman, the quality of the aftercare can determine the quality of the whole experience. She remembers how you made her feel after more than anything else. And listen, this applies whether she's your wife, your girlfriend, or even someone you're just getting to know. Respect and emotional responsibility should always follow intimacy. When you take the time to emotionally care for a woman after sex, you create a container of trust. A safe space where she knows she's not just being used, but truly held. And that's rare. So, if you want to stand out, not just as a lover, but as a man, don't vanish when the moment ends. Stay, hold her, breathe with her. Make her feel wrapped, not just in sheets, but in you. Because that's what turns physical pleasure into emotional bonding. And that's what makes you unforgettable. Let's be honest, gentlemen. Too many men treat intimacy like a destination they control. A one-way street where their pleasure is the finish line. They're chasing release, not connection. But here's the uncomfortable truth. You don't become a better lover by focusing on your climax. You become unforgettable when you prioritize hers. Because a woman's sensuality is layered, deep, emotional, spiritual. She's not wired to switch it on and off like a light. She needs time, space, intention, and most importantly, she needs a man who cares about what she desires. Ask yourself honestly, when was the last time you asked her what she likes, what she needs, what she fantasizes about, what makes her feel safe enough to completely let go? A high-value man isn't afraid to ask. He isn't afraid to learn her. He approaches her body not like it's a machine, but like it's art. Something to discover, understand, worship. Because he knows that when a woman feels truly seen and prioritized, she doesn't hold back. She unleashes. Her pleasure is not a bonus. It's a mirror. It reflects back your care, your presence, your skill, your emotional maturity. And no, this doesn't mean you become passive. It means you become attuned. You slow down. You listen with your hands. You pay attention to her breath, her eyes, her stillness, her sounds. You explore not to conquer, but to connect. Because when she realizes that her satisfaction isn't an afterthought, that her voice matters in the bedroom, that her desires are safe with you, she begins to trust you on a deeper level. She stops shrinking. She stops second-guessing, and that's when she becomes fully alive in your arms. And guess what? When you make her pleasure a priority, your own pleasure multiplies. So if you really want to be a man she can't forget, don't just take your pleasure, expand hers. Learn her, hear her, feel her. Because when her desires matter as much as yours, that's not just sex, that's transcendence.